As you found out yesterday, this morning's guest is richly amazing. Stay tuned for part 2 of Myrtle Beach Herald's Dixie Diva coming up next. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Myrtle Beach Marriott Resort at Grand Dunes. We're focused on part 2 of the amazing woman, Ronda Rich. Good morning. How about that amazing woman?
Oh, thank you.
A little different than Southern humorous. That's right. I got it. It's 7 a.m. I didn't get it yesterday. It was Halloween.
I know. It's taken years to get you to this point to realize I am amazing.
I love it. I love it. It's great.
I realized it the moment I met you.
Oh, come on now. Listen to that.
I knew you were amazing. It did not take me years.
That's a little thick on a Thursday morning. Give me a break. You had a great Halloween last night?
I did.
Did you?
I stayed right here at the Marriott.
Here at the hotel?
This is wonderful.
They've got a nice Halloween motif in
It's the most comfortable beds I've ever been in here. Oh, yeah, great.
You were thrilled. Of course, the great thing here, you were here last week, last Thursday, a week ago today, for the 67th annual meeting. Standing ovation. It was a giant room. There were more people in there than for the luncheon. I mean, literally. It was a humongous crowd. It's as big as a ballroom. I mean, and folks were on their heels immediately after your talk. Very popular.
They were very, very kind to me. Wonderful hospitality. I had flown here through the night from New Orleans. My great friend Mary Edie, and this is what a great friend she is, comes to the airport after midnight to pick me up.
Come on.
Which I remember, I called you and said, Mary's picking me up. And you said, well, if she doesn't show up, you could call me.
I did. After midnight, anytime, I would have been there. Absolutely.
Yeah, so come get me. But Mary Edie comes through the night.
Mary was there after midnight?
Yeah, through the rain, through everything, got me, you know.
She is unbelievable.
Yeah, and it was almost time for her to get up that morning. She gets up like at 3:30 in the morning.
They had a big day last Thursday. The big, is it the Southern Women Writers Conference or Southern Writers Conference?
Yes, they had that week last week.
A lot of folks. She lined up Mary Alice Monroe, who was with us this week. Absolutely. You really got out and about. Of course, a lot of folks know you around here, Rhonda, because of your column for almost 3 years now. Is it? A little more than 3 years?
Yeah, something. I've lost track of it.
It's a long time.
I think the column's been syndicated for about 4 years now, and you were one of the first newspapers to step up and get it. One of the first 12 or 13 papers. It's in 53 newspapers now.
Is it really?
From Myrtle Beach all the way down to Biloxi, Mississippi.
I love it. I saw that on your website. WhatSouthernWomenKnow.com or RondaRich.com. Folks can go online there and see. Not that it highlights all the papers, but it uses that great line from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina to Biloxi. Thank you.
You're
take
welcome.
That as a real.
Well, you do a great job with the Herald. You are very local driven.
We are.
You know, and
Absolutely.
I'm very pleased to be a part of that. Recognizing that people love the South, and they love to look at things that I write about. And intuitively, you knew starting that it was a great idea to do a column that kind of bridges between a metro life and a rural life, because that's what you have. You know, in Myrtle Beach, you have a lot of the town people, but then you got a lot of rural area that lies outside.
Geographically, the largest county in the state, so clearly a lot that has to happen in this very big county. But all of them think Myrtle Beach is kind of the center.
Yes.
Even the folks in Conway have a feeling that Myrtle Beach keeps a lot going on. Very definitely. Very definitely. You know, we mentioned just yesterday, you used the word y'all, and it made me think about John Rawl.
Yes.
You're still doing the column there for Y'all magazine. Very popular.
Yes, yes. Yeah, he had an idea to do this full glossy magazine down in Oxford, Mississippi, that just pays tribute to the South and its people. It's called Y'all, and that's a great title, isn't it?
Very popular. You know, we talked about your first book yesterday, What Southern Women Know That Every Woman Should. But of course, the real and not that that's not amazing, because I think we talked yesterday, it's in its 26th
printing, going into 27th, yes.
Unbelievable. And of course, a lot of folks, for viewers who weren't with us yesterday, just that basic question, what does it take to get a bestseller out there, Rhonda? What does it take to get a bestseller?
With this book, I just found great points of connection. I just sat down and simply wrote who I and my friends and my family were as Southerners. And people just connected. You know, they always say, we see ourselves in what you write.
Really?
They connect. And, you know, a lot of the things I wrote in that book I forget, because I'm not one of these authors that keeps reading what I write. I write something and I forget that I've written it. But I had a lady come up to me the other day and she said, honey, the funniest thing I ever read you wrote in that book, you said that we Southern women don't talk bad about the men we've been married married too because we don't want anybody to know how stupid we were. I said, I forgot I said that. That was brilliant.
I love it. That is great. That is great. My Life in the Pits, another great one that really helped
my favorite,
get you roll. Is that right?
I think it would be because I spent 10 years on the NASCAR circuit as first a sports writer.
10 years?
10 years.
10 years on the NASCAR circuit.
As first a sports writer and then a sports marketer.
Right.
And it was a very important time in my life. I met people who taught me so much about finding success in life.
Right.
Because those NASCAR guys, and particularly the early NASCAR guys, did that.
Right.
You know, they often came from very rural communities. Dale Earnhardt was a 9th grade dropout who grew up in a mill village in Kannapolis, North Carolina.
Right.
Had this dream to just follow his passion, racing. And he became an icon. When he died, he was making $20 million a year. And you know, that sport taught me so much about following grand dreams and making them happen.
Right.
And I really believe I am where I am because I was in that sport.
Is that right? You really feel that way about it? Of course, USA Today gave you some time, and you wrote for other papers. I think you said down there in Gainesville, Georgia. Is that a daily in Gainesville?
It is.
It is, really. And Gannett out of Virginia.
It's funny, when I was a kid growing up, the paper ran 6 days a week. They ran Sunday through Friday, and they were off on Saturday. And they called themselves the Daily Times. Well, they weren't daily. And then they went daily, and they took daily out of the head. Now it's the Times, so it's hilarious. Only in the South do these things happen.
You grew up in Gainesville.
Oh, I have to tell you, I saw a newspaper in a little southern town not long ago, and it says, published daily except when isn't.
Oh, that's a good line. We could use that. I like that.
I
like that. That's great for weeklies and for small papers. But even in dailies, our director, Donald Smith, had recently been driving through Ella-J, Georgia. I don't know what took him to Ella-J, but he picked up a copy of a weekly there in Ella-J. And, of course, it had a big Dixie Divas in there, great... you were in tons of papers. Is it principally in the South?
I have to tell you about the Ella-J paper. They just took the column a few months ago, but I became the first columnist in the history of the Ella-J Times-Courier that they paid.
Oh, come on.
It was just such a big deal. It's a family-owned paper that goes back 4 or 5 generations, and they had never paid for a column, so that was a big thing. I mean, it was like front-page news.
Sure, that's a big deal. And, of course, a lot of folks do want that experience of getting into print, to be able to get started in a community, oftentimes, particularly small communities. And we have that where folks say, I'll do anything to get in. You don't have to pay me. And I say, you're going to be paid because we want to keep the consistency there. We want to make sure there's something and make sure to keep them on their toes.
You're the only publisher I've ever had call me up and say, don't we need to raise your rate?
You know, I don't remember that, Rhonda. And I think you said, no, we don't. Yes.
I did say, no, we don't, but you did offer. I'm trying to make you look good.
I know. That's very kind. I'll take that.
I want to tell them the story about buying the water.
Buying water, Rhonda? Do you have a story about buying water?
With you.
With me? Oh, come on. Well, let it out. I want to hear it. I don't remember that. Claire would like that.
You know, this is one thing I love about you, Greg, and we're great friends.
Yes,
great. You're one of my best friends. I'd call you up and ask you for anything. I hope you would, even after midnight. Even if Mary Edie Scarborough couldn't be there, I would call you.
Right.
And so we have, with great friends, you always have great stories on them.
No.
But one thing I love about you is really a generosity of spirit. I know that embarrasses you, but you have it. Very generous with everybody. But one of my favorite stories that I have long told, well, it just happened a few months ago.
I hope you redact my name,
No, I don't. I say Greg Everett. This happened with Greg Everett, which we were having dinner one night before Jeff Foxworthy's show.
That's right.
And you dropped me off because we were running late, and I ran into the restaurant to get our reservation, and I ordered water. And he said, well, do you want sparkling water? And I went, oh, I love sparkling water. And he brought it to me. And you came in, and I said, hey, would you like some water? I would love some water. And I said, well, I got sparkling water. And you went, you got water I have to pay for?
Oh, you are kidding. Did I say that?
You did. And the waiter came over and he said, would you like Pellegrino? And you went, no, bring me free water. Tap water. Bring me tap water.
I cannot believe. Are you sure you haven't got me confused with Heath?
No.
No, this is really me.
That is really
I bet I did say that.
That is a patent story.
Generous. I can't say I'm generous to a fault then, but that is a great
that was a funny story.
And I enjoyed that water, and I hope you gave me a sip of your fancy non-tap water. Spring
expensive.
Pellegrino, very expensive, and that hotel restaurant was very expensive. The town that I'm kidding. I did pay.
And he's
she
still
did not.
I'm
still paying off my credit card. The town that came a-courtin'.
Right.
The town that came a-courtin', and what Southern women know about flirting. Both came out the same day.
Never happened in publishing history. And it was just one of those quirks. It was a nonfiction and a fiction book, so you could do that. You would never release two fiction books on the same day.
Right.
All the stars lined up because both of them had been bought by imprints of the Penguin Putnam Company.
Oh, great.
One was a Peergy book and one was a Berkeley. So, and they shared the same publicity department. So everything lined up, and we did a 24-city tour across America, and we called it the Flirting and Courting Tour.
I love it. The Flirting and Courting Tour. That must have been huge.
Yes.
And Mary Edie was involved in that as well.
Yes. She went with us to Arkansas. We kicked it off in a little town that had inspired me to write the book.
The book
is about Blytheville, Arkansas. And the book is about a town that goes in search of a wife for its widowed mayor. It's a Reader's Digest book.
Is that
And it's going to be a movie. So
come on.
Yeah.
It's going to be a movie?
Yeah, and you know what? They had just gotten into the throes, but right now they're about to be a writer's strike in LA, in Hollywood. So it's kind of, we don't have a writer that's done the script yet, so it's kind of going to be a hold-up on it. But they'll get everything worked out.
You're in no hurry.
No.
I got to throw out a couple of these names for folks who haven't seen your column, who may not read the Herald, who don't tune in, or for our viewers in the PD and southeastern North Carolina. Claudette. Mary Grace. Of course, Dixie Doo. We talked yesterday about Dixie Divas and Dixie Doo. And Mama. You write a lot about your mother.
And you know what? We're even thinking about doing a book of Mama stories because Mama is huge. She's a big star in her own right. People will come up to her and go, "Hey, Mama," because they hear me call her Mama. But she says things to me my worst enemy doesn't even think. My mother says to me, "Oh yeah," but women understand that and they connect with Mama. And Mama always has a way of putting me in my place, no matter how big I get. One of my favorite things, she saw me on TV one night, and she called me up and she said, "You look so good. I couldn't get over how good you look." And I'm thinking, "Oh, this is great. Thank you, Mama. Thank you." And she keeps on talking. They had some other women on the show, and she said, "But then I got to thinking the reason you look so good was the rest of them look so bad."
Oh, my God. No,
so
Ronda.
That's my mama, yes.
That's hilarious. Of course, these Claudette and Mary Grace, who are those characters for folks who don't read the column all the time?
And there's Penelope Ann. She's there. Penelope Ann is my friend who is more frivolous and silly, and she's more obsessed with the worldly side of life, and so she's very comical because Penelope Ann has never read a book. She reads Cliff Notes if she has to, and she's always concerned with her manicures and pedicures, and that's Penelope Ann. Claudette is a good friend of mine who is married to a great guy, and I love him, Jack. Love him very much. But he comes from a family where more of them are in jail than out of jail.
No.
So Claudette always has these hilarious stories about her in-laws, and they're true.
Sure.
Everything that we write, all of these stories are true. Mary Grace is a friend from college, and Mary Grace is like the etiquette queen, and she is always reprimanding me. If the etiquette isn't perfect, you say best wishes to the bride and congratulations to the groom, and she's always chiding me for something. But I just did a column not very long ago about Mary Grace because she went to an event with me. She's a Southerner. She prides herself on her Southern roots, and she had never heard the song "I'll Fly Away."